Hi, my name is Alan Medeiros with Agape Mortgage, and I'm a mortgage professional.
And my name is Anselmo Moreno with Innovative Credit Solutions, and I'm a credit consultant.
How you doing today?
Doing excellent. How are you?
Good, man. Listen, I had an interesting thought the other day. I had a client come in, and they said, well, my credit score is 900. And I kind of had to sit back and say, well, that's kind of odd because the range for FICO for what we use starts at 350 and ends at 850, and I've seen one time in my whole career an 849, and they didn't want to borrow money after that. So, what? Why are not all the scores the same, Anselmo?
You know, I have that happen to me all the time, and it typically happens to me when a consumer goes and tries to buy a car, and then they get that score, and then they go somewhere else, and they have a fixed score in their head, and that's not true. Not all credit scores are built the same. That's really what it boils down to. There's also several variations of FICO itself.
Okay.
FICO over the years has been the leader in credit scoring. And so most banks use FICO, and FICO over time has to adjust their algorithm to just calculate different trends in the consumer markets. Over the last 20 years, consumer habits have changed drastically, and FICO's formula has to adapt to it to better predict risk. But you also have an influx in the market of those websites or those TV commercials you see that say, have a nice funny little jingle and allow you to go
Yeah.
to their website so you can get their credit score, and that credit score is not used by any lender. So it's really meaningless. And if you look at the fine print, it'll specifically say that it's for educational purposes only.
Well, getting to that point then, because you can ask the client, do you think you have good credit? What is their idea? Is it measured by a score in their head, or is it something that all of a sudden they say, well, a good credit score is 640? Well, yeah, it's barely good enough to obtain financing and mortgages, but for different models, is 640 a good score?
It just really depends on the range. Like you have the ever popular Vantage score that score was created by the bureaus in an attempt to get FICO out of the market. That score has a low of a 501 and a high of a 990. So your client may have had his Vantage score because he probably went to Experian.com and bought the Vantage score because that's what they're going to try to sell him. And in his head, he thought he had a 900.
Yeah.
And so that will probably translate nicely into the FICO score, but it won't be a 900 on the FICO model because FICO model doesn't even range that way.
Yeah.
So it's very important for consumers to understand that not all credit scores are the same, and the only scores that really matter in current day and age is FICO, because that's the only one that lenders are using when assessing the consumer's risk.
Well, one last parting question, because we're almost out of time here in this segment, but if a consumer wants to know kind of a good range of where their FICO score may be for different types of financing, would it be a good idea to talk to a professional like yourself in order to get kind of a good idea of where their payments history is and anything that's on the report to see if their FICO score will be qualifiable?
Yeah, absolutely. Consumers are allowed to get a free copy of their credit report at annualcreditreport.com.
Yeah,
They don't have to pay for anything. They don't have to sign up for any subscription services. And on this website, you can get your free credit report. It doesn't have a credit score, but that way we can sit down, see what's on there, and really evaluate it and see what kind of credit score you may have without actually having to take an inquiry to see it.
Yeah, and what was the website again?
It's annualcreditreport.com.
Yeah, and that's the federally mandated website that one credit report per bureau per person in the United States, right? Per year. Yeah.
Per year.
So it's a great place. Anyways, we like to always tell our listeners, life happens, move on. Thanks.